Let me explain to you what's happening here. And I didn't think this was going to come out today, but I'm glad. So this is what's happening, okay? The Masonic tradition, let me pull one more thing. Let me let you just look at that for a minute. And then let me just pull one more thing. So there's no refuting about this. A lot of cats are going to go under the bus right now. So I love to throw darkness and evil and despair under the bus, because this is how worlds get destroyed. So somebody would have to come in here and just call bullshit and really tighten things up. For those who are listening, I'm not saying that this is going to benefit everybody that is in the world. I had those ideas before. Those who want truth, it will be miraculous, like a miracle for the changes that it will make for them. But those who want to still live in the falsehood, which is basically being dark and evil, basically being a person who wants to hold a grudge, like a person who wants to hate someone else, okay? See, all I want to do is I just want to find the truth. I want to know what happened to my family. I want to know what happened to my tribe, okay? So let me show you what happened. Now, we were already told that Freemasonry was infiltrated right around the time that Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati and all that whole thing popped off, also in Germany, where also all the German secret societies were infiltrated. And basically all the secret societies around the world were infiltrated by even people who pretended to be a part of that society, but they really had another agenda. And so let me explain how such things will happen very briefly. Now, the entire world was known as the realm, okay, by the original Freemasons, or the Masons, or the builders, which were the Eastern Stars, which is a reference to Venus, and then also the males, who are the builders, all taking their orders from Solomon or Hiram Abiff of how to build the temple internally. So this is nothing about external temples, okay? The external temples came later, but what was always put on the front door of any external temple was know yourself. Because if you didn't know yourself, you definitely weren't going to learn it when you walked into the temple, because that was all external. You needed to come inside first, realize it through there, and then you can go forward with this ancient knowledge and wisdom of self, okay? So what Freemasonry originally was, or a builder really was, is a person purporting the knowledge about how to build up your chakra centers and how to build your temple so you can scale the ladder of lights. And that was set out into like a role-playing game that actually was a bit fun, and many cultures were attracted to it. So as you read in Shriners, these are Shriners, okay? So these are the Noble Order, the Mystic Shrine, okay? This is another organization that ran hand in hand with Freemasonry that actually ended up taking over the Noble Order, okay? Now, the Noble Order of the Shrine, or the Shriners, the shrine is the Kaaba, okay? Just so you can understand why there's all this beef right now and what happened with bin Laden and all that. And it's because they were all friends. But the reputation continued to deteriorate because of traitors and people not honoring their word, and no honor amongst thieves, as they call it. So this already happened hundreds of years ago, but it's been in a degrading state since the original knowledge, which was the great word, the great secret, which I just told you about, the language, was destroyed. And that was symbolic to them killing Hiram Abiff. The first act of the Freemasonic initiation today is they basically kill you. And they put you into a mock killing of Hiram Abiff. And then from that stage, just like they killed him for the truth, you are dead in their system and you don't know the truth. So because they don't know the truth. And let me just make that very clear. As they say in their own text, they were looking for a code. They were trying to get a code from Hiram Abiff. There was two thieves. The same two thieves that you see on the side of Jesus is just another rendition of the same story. Two thieves that were trying to get the code from Hiram. They had tucked themselves in close, meaning that they actually even became nobles themselves, but they were acting like we couldn't see them, or that you can't see deception in someone. And this is just like with a healer. Just because you see a virus in someone doesn't mean that you don't start healing them. For a teacher, just because you see ignorance in someone doesn't mean that you don't start teaching them. That's the reason why you even exist. So too, the Hiram and all of those beings who are still on exalted levels saw that they were gonna try to be betrayed. And in that mock betrayal, because it wasn't real, they were they tried to get the secret name, the ancient knowledge, what binds flesh to spirit and all that from Hiram Abiff at that time, and they couldn't get it, and they killed him. And thus, he died, the tradition died, that sacred name was lost, and that is the state that they live in today. They cannot go back to their father and their mother because they feel like they betrayed them, and it is unpardonable. And that is the state of a Zionist. He feels that he has committed a deed that is even affecting his G5 haplogroup DNA, which it is. It's passing down generations, and it won't stop. And the only person that can actually stop it is the children in this world today, even his children coming together with the family of the world. So this is deep stuff is what I'm saying. You don't just tamper with holy things and not get hit with a curse or a course, a lesson. Like, why not to do that again? I'm sure he won't do it next time. Sure he won't kill father. But now notice how this still plays out. There's so much guilt. Even when you see movies like Star Wars, Luke, who's now a male, kind of thin too. Luke is Lucifer, and obviously Satan or Saturn or Solomon or Murugan is his father, the Dark One. And this is how they can embed in everybody's mind this conflict that doesn't exist except for in this fake word or world that they've built inside of our consciousness, that Hollywood projection that is inside of people's consciousness, okay? So in this now, I'm going to show you what happened. So they were bought in, just as he says. He says that, meaning this is the account of the man who first started this. And he says that, let me read it to you. In 1870, there were several thousand Freemasons in Manhattan. Okay, one second. I want to just go to origins here. I'm not going to history because those are the fake Masons. I think it's going to be down here. They're not going to tell you that part first. Where did this all start? This all starts, fraternity fund fellow. Okay, so Shriners House of Children, the organization on Shriners. Okay, maybe I'm actually at the wrong entry here. So I'm just going to explain to you what's in the other entry before they Mandela affect it. But basically, that the Noble Mystic Order of the Shrines began when one gentleman, and it may still be here and I'm just not finding it, but one gentleman from this order, which is supposed to be William Florence, was invited overseas by the Arabs to a wedding. But see, weddings overseas are not, especially in these times, even this was not too long ago, in the 1850s or whatever, those weddings bring you completely into initiations themselves. Like everything about the woman being bequeathed to the man, you got to read Czars and Alien Rituals and the Sudanese Czar cult and all that, because they don't play around when it's time to bind one person to another person, because this could be disastrous for the DNA, disastrous for the family. So in him watching this whole performance that the king or this noble was actually performing for his daughter's marriage, he started writing everything down. And he became so fascinated with this, he worked to get himself invited, according to his story, to get himself invited to at least 2 more of these weddings. And by the end of that, he had the entire ritual down, and he had all the regalia, the clothing, he had drawn all the stuff. This is what it says, and you'll find it. He had drawn all the stuff, and then he came back to the United States and started his own. And somehow this rapidly begins to grow. And so, of course, there's lots of pieces missing here. The biggest piece is that they were enlisted from secret societies, just like we have Russiagate and all this stuff happening right now, to come into the United States and continuously bring this disorder by deconstructing most secret societies. And I just want to explain, and I was going to do this earlier, how you get secret societies. You get secret societies because during even the Spanish Inquisitions, during the Constantine's rule, during Alexander the Great, they always had one tradition that they needed to ram down everybody's throat, and that generally was Catholicism, okay? So people got used to actually going outside, and if they ask you, you know, Hail Mary, shit, y'all killing everybody. But behind closed doors, practicing something else, okay? It was all the time this was happening. This is what bought crypto Jews. This is what bought a lot of secret societies, because generally once these surrogate kingdoms started coming in that had these foreign traditions and these foreign religions, the people, if they didn't want to do that, they were killed right away. So you had to say, oh yeah, I'm Catholic, but behind closed doors, you still practice your tradition. This is still to this very day.